Welcome to Geeks from the Multiverse. We are talking Assassin's Creed, and in this episode, we're breaking down the Desmond Miles era and the foundation of the entire franchise. We dig into Animus, Abstergo, and the original Assassin's Creed trilogy. From Altair's precision to Ezio's iconic rise and the bold swing of Assassin's Creed 3. Plus, AI Fixed It takes aim at Obi-Wan Kenobi, breaking down what failed and what rewrote canon and how it should be worked. This is part one of our Assassin's Creed deep dive, so sync up before Abstergo wipes your memory.
We're geeks from the multiverse. We've come to unite all geeks. Now it's time to get geeky and dive right in, 'cause we're geeks from the multiverse.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Geeks from the Multiverse. I am Grumpy Beard, and with me, as always,
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yes, it's your boy John, a.k.a. Captain Lestache, up in this bish. Anyways, yes, as Matt was politely, I don't know, one of those words, as he was saying about good old Assassin's Creed, this series has always been one of my favorites, Matt. I know I always like to say a lot of favorites, but video game series, I think we've actually, a long time ago when we first started this, we actually did do a segment on, I believe, actually, some of our favorite video games of all time. Mine was actually, one of them was this one. It was the Assassin's Creed franchise in general, but this is gone up and down over so many years. But this one, particularly in this first episode we're doing here, because it's going to be a 3-part trilogy. This is what the OG Assassin's Creed was really about. And this is where Ezio was really the, I would say Ezio, and then you have Altaïr and all them, but the Desmond Miles era, right? Because he was the guy.
Yes.
He was the dude that really created this whole thing that became to be. But anyways, yes, jumping right in.
But before we get to
okay,
Assassin's Creed, we got some, I want to say Final Fantasy, but
Some Final Fantasy updates here.
Final Fantasy football update, because
Oh,
we haven't
I like
done-
that, man. I like that. Final Fantasy.
you see what I
football.
did there? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, we haven't given anybody an update for fantasy football for a long time, so we're gonna get right into that.
Anyways, I know everyone's like, why are they laughing? So originally, what's funny is that I know I usually do, welcome everybody to, GFTM fantasy football, or whatever I do. I looked at him and I said, you know what? I'm not even going to do it this time. And then both of us were just jumping up and down like, yeah, let's do this. It's the Final Fantasy football update. But anyways, yes, as we're saying this, we already know who the winner is. So you know what, Matt? Since you are technically primary commissioner, I'm just the alternate commissioner.
Yeah, well, I mean, the final championship was between your wife Allie and one of my friends that I work with at the haunt at Fright Kingdom. It was Riley. So the two of them went face to face, and for third and fourth, guess what? It was you and me.
Damn Skippy. And now here's the thing, though. So Matt and I even agreed when we first came into that matchup, and we were like, I'm like, shit, am I going to actually win this? And so Matt's like, I don't know, pal, because I got a pretty good team right now. And I said, yeah, I know. And we were both. I mean, we were at first. It was like I really thought Matt was going to win, but then it was Monday night, and Monday night really proved who won that match. And I was like, holy shit! I'm like, this is insane. Now I didn't win by a lot. Let's get that straight. But for the first time in a while, I kicked Matt's ass, and you know what? It feels great. Because you know what? Every time that he likes to shove it in my face. Oh, yeah. Don't even. I only say this because I don't usually get a chance to do this. So this is the one time. The one time, man. He's like, yeah, well, guess what? Next year? And I'm like, the endless possibilities is all I got to say.
It's anybody's game. But yeah, Allie won the matchup between her and Riley. So Allie is the champion. Riley finished second. And then you are third, and I am fourth.
So, yes. And then, of course, I think it went, I want to say it was my dad who was fifth, and then Sucho sixth, Jordan is 7th, and of course, our good old friend Pastor Joe is 8th. But yes, the way it's going to work next year, hopefully, is that yes, the last 2 who basically placed, they'll be in the top 2 when it comes to the draft, and then the rest of us, technically, I know that whoever won, technically, so Allie in this case, my wife, I'm so proud of you. But anyways, she will get to choose.
Yeah, she'll get to choose her position from 3rd to 8th. I'm assuming she's going to pick 3rd, but
Well, who knows? I mean, we'll see. It depends on how many people.
and then everybody else is going to be random in their draft positions because I think that's just fair for everybody.
Yeah, Matt's like, hey, look, I'm 8th. I'd be like, you son of a bitch.
Actually, have the draft positions, but anyway,
No, we're not going there right now. No.
No, we're not going there. But yeah, that was. That's our fantasy football update. There's really nothing else because it's over now.
It's over now, but I'll say this, and this is hopefully for next people or for the next people who want to play this. Now, I will say that yes, some people this year really kind of got to learn what fantasy was all about. I will say one thing that Matt and I can definitely agree. When it comes to the draft, yes, it's just as important. But I will say this, because this was the first time we ever did the Fab waiver.
Yes.
I mean, I will admit, I think for the most part, I liked it a little bit better because, with the whole, like if you, depending on like what position you were with the draft, like, not the draft, the waiver wire, like it was a bitch, right? Because in previous years, my dad, he was the first one always, and he wouldn't pick anybody else. So like everybody didn't have a chance to get it.
This year was Riley. Riley had number 1 the whole time.
Right.
Pretty much because he just never used the waiver wire.
Well, right. I mean, because like sometimes he probably didn't give a shit, as we already knew that from the final championship game, but that's just a different story. But yes, no, I will say that the Fab is, I would say it's fair. I would say it's as fair as you're going to get because honestly, with the waiver wire, I think it was probably better that we didn't. Honestly, I think it was much more fair. I mean, granted, you also had to remember that you have, 17 weeks ish, depending on if you got the playoffs. So
I used all of mine only because of the players that were available.
No, I understand.
I
started honestly towards the end. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I was just like trying to grab as many as I could. I still had money left over, but I will say this is like, for next year, it'll be interesting if we can get a 10-man league, honestly.
Yeah, 10 or 12. I mean, I don't want to go more than 12.
No, I honestly think a 10-man would probably suffice because then you're not always having to feel like you're versing that same, like, because you and I know I was like, oh shit. And at least like towards the end, I was like, oh man, I got to verse Matt again. Oh, great. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, this sucks.
Well, I mean, out of 16 weeks, we basically would face each other twice in an 8-team league, which is what we have. So
True.
yeah, I mean, in that 10 team, you might not face everybody like a second time, but
No.
that's why I'm saying 12. You probably would never face somebody a second time unless it was like a matchup, You would have to because there's only 12, but
yeah, I mean, well, technically, what is it? 14 or the 15th week is the playoffs?
yeah, 15th week, 15, 16, and 17, and then week 14 is our last
Yeah, so I mean,
season.
technically, if you had a 12-man league, then yeah, you would verse somebody at least twice, or at least 2 people twice. But I mean, the point is though, is that real quick before we finish this, is that we're always open to have more people. So if you want to reach out to us, let us know. I already have someone in mind, but we'll see if anyone else wants to, let us know if you want to join.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who joins, like, we need a second person to go along with them because we can't just have, 7. We have to have 8. We can't have 9. We have to have 10. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of the thing going forward. But yeah, I mean, the league is always open, and even if we fill up to a 10 and we say that's it, we can figure out divisions after that. If we have
if we have a lot
of people, we can do division. So it'll be like Division A, Division B.
Oh, right. And I mean, because that's the thing, because then you could be like, okay, now who's going to verse who? You know what I mean? Like that would be interesting. Now that's depending on if we can get enough people. But yes, I mean, that could be a future conversation.
That's a way future thing. But that was our fantasy football update. Hopefully next season I can come away with a championship, but who knows?
Oh, well, I will say this, is that hopefully next year, I know we haven't talked about it
I had the
too
best
much.
record during the regular
I
part
never
of the
said you
season.
didn't. I never said you didn't. My point is, what I was trying to say is that whoever wants to do it next year, we're maybe thinking about making it a pay league. because I really would love to see if we could get, like, it doesn't have to be a big ass trophy, but like, or maybe something, you know, it could be something, just nothing too big.
Well, I mean, a pay league, technically, if whoever wins would get the pot.
No, I understand that, but if
yeah.
we said, hey, we're also getting a mini trophy or something, like, hey, I'm number one, whatever. Like, I'm just saying something like that. Then we could look at that. But that's again if we decide to do that.
Yeah, that's a league vote.
I understand it's a league
Yeah.
vote. I'm just saying in general, if people would want to, because I guarantee you more people would be like, all right, let's play. Because they would be like, oh, well, there's money involved. Yes, there is.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into Assassin's Creed, and we're starting with the Animus, which is gaming's most underrated sci-fi concept. You have to give it to Ubisoft, right? Like cracking like such a wild idea as the Animus, because it was like, let's make a historical game, but let's blame every glitch on the Animus. Like, it gave them permission to experiment with this like VR chair. I guess is the only way.
It was
really to
basically
explain
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But they could show HUD elements, mission markers, and even the Animus walls blocking off unfinished areas. I mean, this concept was just, I don't know if it was really like scientific. I use quotes here, scientific.
I
but
mean, to a degree, I feel like it might have been, especially with the technology that they had, because I mean, if you think about it, I think the first game came out in like 2006 ish, if I had to take a guess off the top of my head. So even for that time, right? So this was like so that probably would have been the PS3 era. I think that's when Assassin's Creed kind of like really started. So like the games itself, like when you're blaming, like we like what Matt was just saying, like a electric chair. He's like, no, not the one you sit in, and you're like, blah, 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 like, not like that, no, but like a VR headset. So because you think about it now, I mean, we kind of have that now. Like in today's culture, we could technically have a VR headset chair thing.
yeah, but
whatever.
this was
But this
more. Yeah, this was more than just VR. I mean, you're taking a guy like Desmond, right? Who's not only, playing, like physically playing out memories of his ancestors, but he's inheriting this like parkour ability, the combat instinct, and jumping off of these high towers into
Oh, yeah.
haystacks. Like, that's not something you just get. Like, if I got like the
Oh, like everywhere.
the meta, VR or whatever these VR things are, I all of a sudden wouldn't start like jumping around like parkour.
Parkour!
Like I'm playing Mortal Kombat, and all of a sudden I'm like a martial artist.
Or I mean, it could be like the movie, like everywhere, God damn it, God dang it, man, what is it? Tell me.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
There you go, that one.
Yeah.
And you're switching it, and then you get all these random skills. No, just saying, could be. No, I will say this, right? So Desmond Miles, I mean, when you think about it, you're just like, damn, how many ancestors do you have, right? And how many? We're talking thousands of years, because it goes from Altaïr at the time. Now Altaïr was back, technically, I think it was like Israel, if I'm not mistaken, or around that area of time, Palestine, wherever. I do know that. I know it was kind of like Middle Eastern-ish kind of era or whatever. But it was interesting, though, because, he's getting into the game. And then he's just like, again, like you said, reliving history. Now, I know in every single Assassin's Creed game, it basically kind of gives you as much historical data as it could, right? Like without being like, a little too fake, So like, it's trying to at least recreate some like historical events, because I know I'm not jumping ahead, but like in other Assassin's Creed games, in the next episode, like there's a lot of historical, moments and events and things like that. But like in this, I mean, he's just kind of reliving it and kind of understanding like what it is that his ancestors were doing, and so that basically the point of it, right, was to find the apple of Eden, to try to find that historical, or I guess in this case, the one item that the Templars want to use to take over the world, like, Pinky and the Brain would do. He's like, Yes, we're taking over the world, Pinky.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about this thing where I mean, it's diving into this like pseudoscience, right? Of genetic memory, because that's really what the game and the Animus is. It's like genetic memory, but somehow it it sounds like if you were to explain it to somebody who doesn't know Assassin's Creed,
Oh no.
you would think like, what are you microdosing on ayahuasca? Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't genetic memory from a VR headset. That's stupid. But they made it like they made it in such a way that was like it's science, but it's also absurd at the same time.
Well, I mean, when it came to the games, though, right? Even though that the Animus, it felt like it was like it was almost like it was like learning plus, because we've talked about that already, like having those like semi limitations, right? So like when you're walking around the map or when you're doing certain things, like I liked it because it was such an open world for a game, or at least in an era of gaming that you never would have thought it would have been so massive. So like it's crazy to me that Ubisoft. I mean, I love Ubisoft. I love how they've always risen the bar for a lot of games that they've done.
Yeah.
But they've done it so well that people are like, you need to follow Ubisoft standards. So like with Assassin's Creed, it actually created like, and I know Matt and I have talked about in the past where there's a lot of games that have done so much to help, like a lot of games and kind of like move with the times. But these sets of games have really defined what an open world should look like. Or
And it
how
was, I
you
mean,
should
it
be
was
able to do
it was really really great looking too. I mean, when you're walking around all these old cities that, I mean, back then, obviously now they don't look like they did back
no.
then. But you're walking around and you're crawling up ledges, and I mean the views and everything in these games were so beautifully done.
Oh my God. I mean, I remember even like Brotherhood and like some of the other, because that was more like the Italian Renaissance, like meeting like Leonardo da Vinci and I don't know if Galileo would have been around that time, but especially Leonardo at the time, like he was one of the ones that in the Brotherhood series, like really helped you out and kind of like help you define like with Ezio. So like I said, I mean, when you're looking through all these cities and like going through Italy and going through, I guess Israel at the time or whatever, I mean, it's crazy to me how visually stunning a lot of these places were.
Right.
And especially when you're looking at it today, you're like, oh, well, they're just a bunch of rubble and stone and a bunch of bullshit over here. Like, no, when you're looking at the game, it makes you want to go back. It makes you want to go, sorry, well, relive those moments because like now you're living it with Desmond. Now you're like, oh my God, like I really want to go do that. Like now, granted, the only thing is, and this is where we'll probably jump ahead of just for a second. The leap of faith, man. I mean, that's probably one of the most iconic things in all of Assassin's Creed, because that really, when you first see it for the first time, you're just like, oh, I'm sorry. You saying you want me to jump from this like, like, we'll call it like 10-story up building to fall into this pile of hay, and you want me to somehow survive that? And you think that's a great idea?
Only in a game.
I understand only in a game. In real life, I'd be like,
I mean, that would have to
be a lot of fucking hay.
That would have to be.
Like that's a lot of fucking hay you're gonna put down there. No, but like when you're seeing,
I always used to get like the butterflies in the stomach when he was falling. It was like,
ooh. No, but it's true because like when you're in different games, and especially like I'm gonna mention one game that's a little bit in the future here, but like when you're jumping off Big Ben in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, or you're jumping off, I'll say it, we'll say Boston, and you're in Assassin's Creed 3, and like you're off of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of all these different places off the top. But my point is all these tall buildings in general, like in each city, you'll see usually some of the tallest points you go up at. And then
they had towers, I think, in the original ones where it was just a tower with the.
With the ledge, but like in other places, like or in other games, I mean, like most places, you would just go up to the very tippy top like point, and you'd sit there, and then you'd be like, okay, go ahead. And then you're like, and you're like, no. And then you just jump it off. But no, it's true because I felt that every time like I would jump I'd be like, oh my god, don't
I
don't
think
make me do it.
it was the way that they shot it when he was falling, because you jump normal and then all of a sudden it's like it's going in slow motion and then it just rapidly speeds up until you land in the hay and you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, not only that, I mean, even the eagle sound that it would make. I can't even. No, I'm not gonna even try. I'm not even gonna
Don't
try.
even try. Don't even try.
No. Not with my voice right now. No, absolutely not. But no, but like, I don't even know how to describe it, man. I mean, like, literally, I would say a lot of these games, or at least in these particular ones, it was just an experience, right? It was honestly one of those things where you're learning about history, you're learning about the culture, you're learning about so many things, and like you never think that a game would teach you history.
Yeah.
That was the beauty of Assassin's Creed because it was doing that. So like, even though you might be like, I hate history, and then you're playing a game like this, and you're like, oh shit, I'm actually learning about history. And it's crazy that a popular game could teach you about different moments.
Right.
I'm just saying. So all you history haters out there, guess what?
Hey.
This game teaches you a lot.
Teaches you a lot. So let's talk about Abstergo, because Abstergo Industries is one of those multinational corporate conglomerates. They are the primary front for the modern day activities of the Templar Order.
Yes.
So they were using the Animus to hunt pieces of Eden. And it's basically, for them, it was like if Apple decided iPhones should also brainwash people, that was Abstergo Industries.
That's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean? You probably have never seen the show Black Mirror, but Black Mirror
I need to watch it.
Black Mirror was a great show, but this whole thing is like that show with a budget, because Black Mirror doesn't have a huge budget, but they're, I mean, obviously they're like the villains, like they're the ones that you're kind of going up against, trying to figure out what they're doing the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys, I mean, it's funny because like in every Assassin's Creed game, they always have like a different, I don't even know how to call it. It's like almost a different villain, but it's like whoever the new hit is. It's like the Hydra effect. It's like,
right,
you kill one, two more pop in its place. Well, that's kind of what happened in every single of these games. Because even though you don't, because I don't even remember every villain of every single Assassin's Creed game. Like you might in like the actual story. Like there's always a main villain in the story when you're like playing as Altaïr or the Brotherhood or whatever.
right.
But like in other games, like if you're Desmond Miles and you're versing against Abstergo, they just pop up. It's like they just, you kill one, guess what? Another one comes in its place. And you're like, well, who the hell's the villain? I don't know. Well, let's find out in the next game, you know.
Until you hide with all the, what are they, like the monks or the priests?
Oh,
when you end up like walking really slow next to them, and yeah.
Well, and then you go, and they're just going, they're humming or doing whatever, and you're just like, as he's just creepily walking next to them.
You're just creepily walking. So to finish up this kind of Animus part of this is, I mean, it's the whole idea behind the Animus is, I mean, yes, it evolves with like across every game, but it's really like almost a character in the game.
That's true.
Like when you think about it, because I mean, like I said, it does evolve. Like you have Lucy's Animus, that was the torture chair that Desmond first sits in. You have Rebecca's Animus, like 2.0, which is more of like a gaming rig. And then the Animus 3.0 was more of a VR pod. So they use it in such a way to show like how the modern day plot escalated beyond just living those memories.
Imagine in your house, Matt. Imagine having a big ass VR pod. This pod would have to be almost the size of this room. You know, and you're jumping into it, and then you're like, okay, who do I want to relive today? You know, and you're jumping in, and you're like, okay, let's see. I'm just gonna relive Hitler. Wait, what did you just say? Did you say you're gonna relive Hitler? Oh, what? No, I'm not.
What?
I'm joking. I'm actually gonna be the spy that kills. No, right? No. I mean, I guess it would be interesting now because, like I said, we're already at a point where, you know, we have VR headsets, we have all this technology. Like I told you, man, I really feel in the next, I'm not even going to say a quarter of a century, okay? Everyone thought back in like the 70s and 80s or whatever, we would have flying cars by now. Okay. I'm going to say this. In the next quarter century, easily, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this would be a reality.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think genetic memory is, is going to be a thing in VR.
No. But I mean, I'm talking like a VR pod, something you go into, you do all that kind of thing. Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying that necessarily genetic,
I mean, I could see more like Ready Player One, like that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yes, for sure. But like, could I see something like this? Sure. I mean, the whole genetic thing, I mean, that could take hundreds of years.
As long as people are still buying PS5s and Xboxes and playing with controllers, VR will not be something that is like a mainstream.
Well,
like you would have to get rid of the PlayStation and make it
I'm going to say
completely VR pod.
I understand that. My thing is this: is that at some point the consoles are going to die.
Well, and nobody has $25,000-$50,000 for a VR pod.
No, I agree with you, but the problem is the only way to fix that is if we fixed our fucking economy. Anyways, I'm just going there.
I still don't think people would be spending.
I'm not saying
a VR pod like that would probably cost you a good 25.
Listen, I'm not saying that I'd spend literally almost like a down payment on a mortgage. I'm not going to say I'm going to hold on. I'm going to go get myself a loan just to go buy this
check
thing.
out my VR pod I got on Temu.
It's only $5. Yeah, it's a piece of shit cardboard thing.
Shit. Yeah.
Wait. It's like one of those. What was it? Like, remember when Nintendo had those stupid? You could buy like cardboard bullshit, and like you could make figurines and shit. Like
I'm not falling for that again.
It's like he's like it's gonna be something like that where you have to build a pod, and it's like it costs you like thousands of dollars, and you're just like, how do I get into this thing? Oh, actually,
what is this shit made of? Cardboard,
and epoxy resin. You're like, wait, what? What the fuck is this? You're like, it's some bullshit. Or actually, ready? No, SpongeBob's going to come out and go, imagination.
And it's fine until you invite that one friend over, and that one friend just like doesn't really do VR and starts punching the shit out of the air, and then all of a sudden like breaks the fucking walls. You're like, motherfucker, what are you doing?
Well, motherfucker, you're like, man, I spent.
Now I gotta buy another one for $10.
It's like I gotta go buy another fucking cardboard box, you piece of shit. Anyways, no, yes. I know. I just feel like the Animus, though. You're right. I think as a character, I mean,
obviously it's not a. No,
I know it's not a character.
I mean, it has the strength of a character because it's the main concept of what allows Desmond to go back. It's the main driving force of like everything.
Well, and especially like this. So I know we'll be talking about Desmond here in a second, but it's just Desmond Miles is such. And it's funny because people are like, oh, he wasn't like a main part of it. Like, no, actually, he created, like I said, this legacy because for so many, Assassin's Creed games, he was the main character besides you playing as certain people. So, and this is, yes, you know what? I'm going to say it. We might throw some spoilers here. So guess what? If you haven't played the game, too bad. Guess what? You shouldn't listen to this episode.
It's been out for a long fucking time.
So yeah. I'll say this. So Desmond, yes, like he starts out young. He's kind of naive. I know he listens to his dad, and he has a couple people that he brings along to and kind of helps stop Abstergo and stuff. But like towards the very end, okay, I'm just going to jump there for a second. When you find out that he, that he dies, yes, because he's actually trying to save the world at the moment of what was going on Abstergo. And this is actually when I think it was like Assassin's Creed 3 is when actually I think he dies. So, now you're talking from the very first game until Assassin's Creed 3. And believe it or not, all these games are just like, they're all over the place. Like, there's no timeline. So you'll see why we're talking about this. But like, yes, the main story of Desmond is like very first Assassin's Creed, all the way to Assassin's Creed 3. I know it sounds weird.
He was in Brotherhood too, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he was in Brotherhood. I mean, shit, he was in Black Flag, technically. Like, he was in a bunch of other little games in between all those. So like, he's in a long history of this. But the thing is like, yes, I believe in 3 when he dies. It's basically, and it sounds weird because basically what he finds out from the apple of Eden or the pieces of Eden is that they're actually from, which is very interesting, is the whole, because they actually use like I believe the Roman gods' names, like the Minerva, Jupiter, because it's not even like Greek mythology. It's like Roman mythology. Like, because you'll see like the different gods that he talks to in these like little programs or whatever. And again, that's much, much later in some of these games. But basically towards the end, he's talking because like what he finds out about the pieces of Eden is that it basically was a bomb reset of the world. Like basically, once you found all the pieces, there's this machine he puts into it, and basically it would like obliterate the entire world and basically restart and basically become the new Adam and Eve and restart, basically, a civilization. And so Desmond was like, no, I'm not having this, basically. And he was like, I'm not doing this. So he basically finds a way to save the world by, he like, tries to defuse it, does whatever, but basically says to his friends, you need to leave now. I need to find a way to defuse this. And so everyone leaves and he's stuck in this room. And then, of course, once it blows up and does whatever, you find out that Desmond is dead. And then, so, yes, boom, boom, boom. Yes, I spoiled it for you. But anyways, no, but like he is just like his character. Like when you look at him in the beginning.
Well, he carried the series. I mean, honestly,
he was the guy, man.
Yeah.
No, but like he is just in the beginning, he didn't want to be an assassin.
No.
Right? He just wanted to be special. He just wanted to be, like wanted to bartend and mind his own damn business because his dad was really the one that got him into being an assassin because his dad and so on and so forth became, assassins, right? And so, which honestly makes him the most relatable protagonist because in this franchise, because he basically pulled into his greatness the art grounds, the ridiculous lore. Because it's true, because again, he was naive. He didn't want anything to do with basically his legacy. He was just a normal guy. And then once he found out that he had this heritage and he learned about the assassins and the Templars and all this shit, he was like, well, shit. He's like, I don't really have a choice right now, do I? No, you do not.
No.
And so, here's the thing, right? So when you're looking at, especially the assassins in general, now there's plenty of them, right? So we're talking from the very first game and even up until now. There are some very iconic, legendary assassins, okay? But in the case of Desmond, or his lineage, because technically I'll even say this too. Yes, I do agree Altaïr was the very first, well, he wasn't the very first one. The very first one was actually, there's another game called Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
That was the very first Assassin's Creed when it came to, how they started.
And we talk about that one in the third
Yes.
episode, yeah.
I know. But Altaïr, in the case of what we're talking about, was considered part of his lineage. So yes, Altaïr is definitely one that is a legendary assassin, which they talk about him in a lot of other games as well. Another one is Ezio, who was again part of the the Brotherhood and all the stuff in it, basically Italy at the time. And then Connor. So this guy, real quick, this guy was one of my favorites because he's got an interesting story, right? So he basically, his dad was Haytham Kenway, who happens to be the son of Edward Kenway, who Edward Kenway was in Black Flag, and who's the main, protagonist. So like you basically, again, this is one of my other favorite games because again, you're basically driving a fucking ship. You're driving a ship. And you're like, oh my God, you're just riding along on a ship and you're meeting people like Blackbeard and all kinds of different people in the Caribbean. But like the reason why Connor's so important is because Edward becomes an assassin just by luck. Haytham does not go that route. He says, fuck the assassins. I'm going to go be a Templar. And he does. And there's also another spin-off game that goes into the whole Haytham thing too. But then the thing is about Haytham is that he decides to have a kid. Well, he doesn't know he has a kid. But he basically, and I hate saying it like this, right? So again, I'm only saying this because of the game. We're talking about time periods here. So like basically, yes, Haytham finds an Indian village somewhere, I believe in New England. I just don't know exactly where at that time. And basically has sex with a woman or an Indian woman. Ooh. And Connor is half white. I don't know what tribe he is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he's a Native American. Okay. Connor grows up and then he finds out that his dad was a Templar and this and that. And then he meets a guy named Achilles who wants to bring him into the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And then he becomes, oh my God, a badass assassin with his Native American techniques. And I'm like, you couldn't put two interesting things together. I mean, a freaking tomahawk with the Assassin's Creed logo as the hammer part of it.
Yeah.
I know I could go on and on about it, but it's amazing. But anyways, yes, you talk about these three. I could talk about it all day, but I'm not going to. So, when you're looking at Desmond, right, it's not just watching history. He's being trained by literal super assassins through the bleeding effect. Slowly, his abilities kick in. Parkour without thinking. Parkour! He's like, what happened? He's like, oh, I just jumped off that wall for no reason. Yeah. Advanced combat. My God,
My
Matt.
goodness gracious.
Combat. There we go. Instincts, and that you can break down how Assassin's Creed 2/Brotherhood quietly set up the idea that Desmond could eventually become the modern day assassin.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're looking at this, right? And it's like through the Animus and through going through these memories, I mean, you have 3 different assassins, 3 different time periods, right? I mean, you have, as he's going through all of these, because you're talking about genetic memories now, not just like memories that you're like, hey, I remember that time when I was 6. No, it's like those are just memories. We're talking genetic memories, which is like muscle memory, and like the more he's living these 3 assassins' lives, essentially,
Yeah.
his genetic memory is picking up those same techniques, so he's physically able to soon do what all of these 3 guys are doing because his genetics are actually learning from these memories.
I don't know, man. I mean, imagine though, if you had this like really cool lineage of like that, and then all of a sudden, like I said, you jump into this pod, you start to learn all these abilities, and you're learning from different time periods of people, and understanding where they're coming from, their culture, all these different things, and especially like, I mean, God, I mean, if I could jump in and live Connor's life like that, I was like, I wouldn't want to do half the shit that he did because there were some there were some dangerous moments, but like, looking at all of them, I mean, I don't know, they're just all iconic for their own reason. You know what I mean? Like they're all iconic because of the time periods, maybe, the different choices they had to make, all this other stuff. I mean, basically, I'll say it, Altaïr lived when he, became like an old man too. Ezio became like the leader of them, like he was a master assassin, like he was basically the Brotherhood, like he was the guy of that. Connor, I think he lived up to a certain point, but like he didn't really live a very long life. The other 2 kind of made their lives, and then they just became old because in their guild, the culture of an assassin, you typically wouldn't live very long, but these guys lived until they were old.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you would think they'd be dead, within a certain amount of time.
Yeah, you would think, and I mean the whole thing too. I mean, I'm skipping that Lucy Barbosa one.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't remember as much.
I mean, we're talking Assassin's Creed 3, right? You had just reviewed.
I'm sorry.
You pretty much just reviewed all the notes that we had, but you look at Assassin's Creed 3, right? I mean, you have probably the franchise's strongest, like, modern day protagonist, like it would ever have. Going beyond 3 games, because I mean there was more games that he was a part of.
Oh yeah,
but they just ended it so abruptly, right? Like he sacrifices himself, saves humanity. Like you had explained all this, but
I know.
Was it a good move? I mean, obviously you can't just do, I don't even know how many games. You can't do 10 games with Desmond. I mean, you have to move on eventually, but.
So actually, I'll tell you this. So it was actually, he did 1, 2. So he did Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and then Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes.
So those were so 5 games technically.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like you have to eventually move away from him. But it's really that thing that fans of the game still debate whether or not ending that storyline as abruptly as they did was a good move.
I think, and this is just me, right? I know people can say yes, no, maybe so, whatever. I don't think they should have killed him. I think they should have left it as a mystery. And the reason why I say this is because then you could have brought him back and maybe done something like mentor somebody else or done something else. because I think it would have set up for an interesting plot for a lot of different things down the road. And the only reason I'm saying this is because killing off the main protagonist, especially how a game developed into a really such an iconic series of like a franchise,
Right.
it really would have set up a lot of different things for the future. Because I'm not going too far, because I know we have 2 more episodes after this to go into it. I just think that it definitely would have made more sense to kind of leave you with a little bit of a cliffhanger, because killing him off directly is not something that I think, would have been the smartest move, right? Because you have so much potential. I'm not, because like, how many times have you and I said that if you killed off the main character literally in the first movie, and then, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, well, shit, now what do we do for the
now
next
if you
2 or
ever want to
3?
do it's
You know what I'm
sort of,
saying?
I mean, it is sort of like what Marvel has done already.
I know.
mean, it's not like you can see Iron Man again because Iron Man died.
Well, hold on now. They want to bring him back as somebody else.
And I mean, even the Iron Man Chris Evans is technically dead.
True.
Although, if you've seen the leaked trailer, I guess it's not
did.
leaked anymore, but
I did. And it's not technically.
he's back, but it's not technically him. It's the one from the past that's back.
Oh, yeah. Probably holding his kid that we never knew he actually had. But anyways, go
Yeah.
on.
But I mean, it's just you killed Desmond off, and I agree. Like, I don't think they should have killed him off. They should have left it a mystery. And who knows? I mean, you can do a future Assassin's Creed where maybe because we just think he's dead, maybe he did become an assassin, and now his ancestor
Right.
is going into the Animus to play him.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like, we could have
yeah.
a whole game where, like, Desmond is now the assassin we're playing as in a game.
True.
But it's all future. You know what I mean?
It would definitely have to be way far into the future.
Well, that's what I'm
depending
saying.
on
Like, it would have to be, like, in the future. But, like, we're talking the game that already does. It's, like, a callback to, like, doing that.
So, damn, you have no idea how many thoughts I have right now. But I know that I can't say it because we have so many episodes to talk about. But, yes, I will put a pin note on this one because there's so many things that I would love to say, but I definitely want to make sure that I have enough for the next couple episodes. But anyways.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this. This is the first one, but we got 2 more Assassin's Creed because there's so many games and so many different eras of the games that we can't just do it in like 1. We couldn't even do it in 2. I mean, there's so
many and there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So let's talk about Altaïr, Ezio, and the rise of the Brotherhood because
Oh, wait, hold on, brother. You missed something.
I did miss something.
Oh,
I did. I did indeed. I
it
did
did it.
indeed.
Diddly dee.
I diddly deed and did.
It did it. Here we go. AI.
AI fixed it.
AI fixed it. Hollywood broke it. Drop that mic, yeah. We roast it, smoke it. Blueprints here. Follow it.
Follow it. Yeah.
Follow it.
So we're doing AI Fixed It, and this segment of AI Fixed It, if you don't know what AI Fixed It is, we take a show, a movie, a game, whatever it is, and we go to AI, and it gives us 5 problems and 5 solutions of what it would have done to make it better. So we are doing the Star Wars show, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So the real question is, Matt, do you want to go with the 5 problems or do you want to go with the 5 solutions?
Well, I think we can share that. We can share each other.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll go back and forth. Go ahead.
We can go back and forth. So we're going to start with the 5 real problems with Obi-Wan Kenobi. The first one is it soft retcons one of the most sacred Star Wars moments, which we know from A New Hope when Obi-Wan faces Darth Vader, supposedly for the first time, right?
Air quotes.
A New Hope gives like the mythic weight of like their reunion from when they knew each other back in episode 3, like that iconic fight, on Mustafar.
Yeah.
So, yes, it technically fits the dialogue, I guess, if you're like loosely. I say there's a lot of
There's a lot of air quotes
There's
here.
a lot of air quotes, but emotionally, it rewrites 40 years of implication that their Death Star duel used to be a haunted silence, and now it's like a rematch, right? Like,
Wait. Matt, are you saying that this has been Disneyfied?
Oh, it's been Disneyfied.
It just decided.
Because we, I mean, when you watch A New Hope, the impression is that it's their first time reunited, and it doesn't feel so good. No, but it's the first time that like they have met since they've known each other and they fought back
Oh yeah,
on Mustafar. So
we're talking like a 20-year gap.
in the show, they fight.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I will preface this. It's not. I haven't technically watched this show, but I do understand some of what was going on now.
Right.
But anyways, go ahead.
You want me to do two?
Sure.
So this is one that really is puzzling in the whole thing because Leia in the show is a girl, like a little girl. You know what I mean? She's a little
okay.
girl, and she has this chase scene
Oh boy.
in the show, and Leia Organa,
Oh God.
she outruns fully grown adults and trained hunters. Just flat out like speeds away from them. And
so let's get this straight though. She grew up with what was it, Senator Organa? Like it was like
Yeah.
I know she because I know that
Yeah.
was her stepdad. I guess you want to call it. He's not a trained anything. So the fact that she's
no,
learning,
and
all
she was
this,
a little girl, so she's not a trained anything either. And the scene doesn't remotely ask like how does this work? It just makes the stormtroopers who are chasing her. I mean, we all know that they're sort of incompetent anyways, but it makes them look worse because they can't even catch a small girl who's not trained. Like they're trained, soldiers. So it just kind of you just kind of have to like, yep, okay, that almost kind of I guess tracks if you're.
Oh, is it like is it?
I mean, imagine your kid running away from you, and you can't keep up with it.
I mean, there are sometimes I feel like that might be the case. Depending. No, I'm joking. I'm joking because a 2-year-old versus I don't know how old she would have been in the show.
You're also talking a whole platoon of stormtroopers. So I
agree. Hold on. Stormtroopers have always never been the most organized individuals.
Again,
but
you have I
understand a little girl.
maybe 10. I don't know how old she was in the show, but probably about 10-ish age.
Yeah,
and you have a platoon of stormtroopers
who actually
not just running after her, but shooting as well.
Well, true, and she has nothing probably to defend herself or nothing.
It breaks that physical reality. So that's number 2.
All right. Well, number 3. Here's the real thing. No, I'm joking. It's just one of those problems. Obi-Wan survives Vader with no lasting cost. Right. So Obi-Wan escapes Vader twice, not once, twice, and the galaxy barely reacts. Or yeah, there we go. The no consequences, no exposure, no permanent damage. When survival becomes routine, Vader stops being terrifying, and that's a cardinal sin.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so I guess in this case, I mean, with Obi-Wan, I mean, yeah, he's later on he's an old man, plain and simple. I mean, granted, Vader does become an old man too, but he's more scarred and ugly looking at that point. But no, I feel like you're right though. I mean, there's got to be something more dramatic. Because in this case where he's now basically having to live as a hermit for basically the rest of his days, probably after this, because now he's, Vader's just, I mean, because we both know this, right? Vader, when it came down to knowing where, kind of like Kylo Ren, like he could like almost like have a psychic link with individuals. Vader could almost, just like Yoda, like sense where people were. So the fact that Vader didn't even want to hunt Obi-Wan this entire time. So unless Obi-Wan learned some skill to block out where he was and this and that, like, well, there's got to be something, I feel like, right in that moment.
I think what you're looking at too is it goes with the first one, because if Vader already knows that Obi-Wan's on this planet, which he was back on Tatooine,
right?
Vader would not just leave him to live. Like,
no,
he knows that he's a Jedi. He knows his potential, obviously, because he fought him and lost. So
correct. He was one of the only ones that did that.
You're talking 40 years of him not looking again for Obi-Wan ever in his entire life, and then all of a sudden he sees them on the Death Star and he's like, "Oh, look at you!"
No, I mean, but then it's like one slash. He's like, "Oh, you got to do what you ever got to do." No, but it's true though, because like in that moment, or like I guess in the show, I guess in this, if I'm again not actually seeing it, I just feel like you're right. There needs to be more dramatic. Like there's got to be some reason why he hasn't been looking for all these years. Or there's got to be something like it. Just you're right. It just doesn't add up as well as it should.
All it takes is an Obi-Wan to know what that he needs to stop Vader to end this whole thing.
Correct.
And Obi-Wan was the kind of character that you could say, yeah, he could have just in 40 years trained himself up to be like beyond elite as far as a Jedi, because there's no one else other than Yoda, and Yoda is like cuckoo.
Well, at that point, he's like, "Rocket, no,
rockin'
don't you start with me. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't know what he's talking about, go look it up yourself. We'll talk about it later."
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. And I'll do number 4. The stakes were undercut by timeline safety nets. So we know Leia, Luke, Obi-Wan, and Vader all survive.
As
right?
we all know, yes.
We all know this. But the show just pretends like their lives are in danger instead of just creating these meaningful risks like exposure, moral compromise, collateral damage, or irreversible choices that they could have made. Like, we know that they survived, so it's like, what are we doing here?
Well, that's the thing. I know, like in this case, right, and we all know this if you've watched Star Wars, is that yes, Obi-Wan splits up Leia and Luke. Plain and simple. They do that because he's trying to protect, them from Vader in the sense, or Anakin. But the issue is that of course now Obi-Wan's like, "Oh shit, okay, I got to go live somewhere else. I got to make sure he doesn't know where I'm at." And he also, because he's the only one, of course, that would know where Leia and Luke were. And so now with this whole Vader thing, and now he's finding Obi-Wan. Now, I know Vader kind of at the time he doesn't ever know about his kids, like at the time, because that was the whole point, is to make sure like he never knew. Now in that moment, Vader could have killed him and probably found and try to figure out some way that he's like, "Oh, by the way, you have a kid or 2, actually." He could have. There could have been some real emotional.
Well, I mean, he doesn't find that out until like 5 or 6. You know,
I know.
Like,
he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't find that out until much later, because when he's like fighting Luke that second time, he's like, "Sister," and that's the first time that he actually knows like there's family.
Right.
And he senses Luke, and I think you get that maybe in like 5, but like
it's like towards the end of 5 and then like early 6. Yeah.
I don't really know if he even knows about Leia, to be honest.
Well,
because I don't think they have really an encounter.
Well, up until the 4th movie. Technically, well, they only have that one encounter, in like right when
maybe in passing, but I mean, he just knows her as Princess Leia, not like, "Oh, you're my daughter," like.
I'm your father. You're like, wait, that's not the iconic world.
So yeah, number 5, the story is a movie wearing a TV show skin. So it's a tight emotional idea padded into 6 episodes. I mean, you have repeated chases, repeated escapes. I mean, repeated almost caught moments that stretch the tension until like it almost snaps.
So here's the thing, right? And I'm just going to say this in general. Both Matt and I agree. When it comes to Disney, in general, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, whatever. What I really hate is that they've made TV shows, because they'll never do another season of this. They only will do the one season.
It would be the most boring show ever, because it's supposed to be him just watching over Luke and being a fucking hermit. Like, who wants to see a show?
No, I agree with you.
That's like Star Wars 7th Heaven edition. You know what I mean? Like I know. We're basically just watching him eat in a cave, occasionally going out and watching over Luke, and then going back and doing nothing again.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying it's interesting that all they're going to do is that. What they could have done is it could have been a short film. It could have been, something. It didn't have to be a season.
Because you have to realize too, the point of the Emperor knowing that somebody somewhere is using Force abilities, which is why when you see some of these other games, like Force Unleashed is a great game.
Oh yeah,
that kind of explains a lot of this, because anybody that's using Force powers, like the Emperor, can sense that. And this is where in the show, if you do another season, Obi-Wan's not going to be using Force abilities. He's not going to be a Jedi. He's going to be some dude that works.
Right. He's just a regular Joe Schmo.
Like who wants to watch
I'm
that?
sorry, Pat. Could you do that one more time? Okay.
So part 2, the fixes. We're going to get on with this because we're doing this way too long. But
I know. Oh, no, you don't. I'm going to start this one because you've already mentioned a few of them already. So, yes, number 1, we got remove the Vader-Obi-Wan physical duel entirely. Yes, they should not fight. They do not fight. Instead, Vader senses Obi-Wan's presence but never confirms it, right? Their connection is
psychological.
Psychological, thank you. But not physical, right? So Obi-Wan chooses not to confront Vader, preserving the myth, and then the Death Star duel returns to being their first reunion since Mustafar, restoring its gravity, which, you know what? I do agree. Or if that's the case, just not make the damn show. How about that? Why don't we just forget about the show?
If you change it to them not fighting, but you have, the Empire, since he's sensing Obi-Wan's presence but can't confirm it,
right?
You can have, stormtroopers or other, hunters, if you will, going after Obi-Wan and trying to get to him. That's where you could have went, but no, you have this fight that kind of breaks the whole canon, the 40-year canon. But
True.
Number 2, you rewrite Leia's escape as clever but not fast. So she doesn't outrun adults, which is ridiculous when you think of it. Could she have been fast? Sure. But we're talking about a platoon of stormtroopers, not just like one that's chasing her, right? You have a platoon. Leia hiding, misdirecting, doubling back, and then Obi-Wan subtly manipulating the environment to help her. It makes her smart, observant, and resourceful, not the flash and pigtails, right?
Oh, please. I would have loved to have seen that, though. Hold on.
with the sideways arms,
yes, please.
But yeah, she never runs adults. You make it clever, not fast. Like she's resourceful.
All right,
which is how she is when she's an adult.
Well, that's true. And then like here, right? So number 3, make Obi-Wan's survival cost something permanent, right? So every escape leaves damage, a compromised safe house, dead or captured allies, increased Imperial scrutiny on the Outer Rim. By the end, Obi-Wan doesn't just hide again; he seals himself off, knowing any further action risks Luke.
Yeah, and I was kind of already alluding to that.
Yes, I figured.
Number 4, replace will they die with what will be lost. And I think that like would create real tension within the show.
True.
Will Obi-Wan expose Luke to save Leia? Will he abandon innocence to stay hidden? Will his actions accelerate Imperial control? And now the show becomes sacrifice instead of survival. And we escaped this. Oh, we're escaping this. Oh, we're escaping this. And yeah, it makes it more about sacrifice. Like, what is he willing to do? Is he really willing to sacrifice Luke and Leia to the Empire?
Well, right, for the greater good in this case. But I will say this. See, I agree with number 5 because, like I was about to say, yes, I know I said get rid of the show completely. But you know what? This is fine. You could restructure it as a 4-episode prestige. I don't know what is going on with me today. But anyways, 4-episode prestige miniseries, right? So it's tighter structure. And here's what AI came up with. Ready? Episode 1 through 4. Here we go. Episode 1, Broken Obi-Wan, inciting incident. Well, okay, maybe not the inciting incident part.
Well, that's you have a broken Obi-Wan, and then you have the inciting incident, which is what the show is about.
All right, and then episode 2, you got Leia's rescue, right? And then you have a near exposure, event that happens during that time, right? And then you have episode 3 with this whole psychological pressure from Vader's shadow, which that could be interesting depending on how they work it. And then episode 4, you can do like Obi-Wan chooses the long exile, which again could explain a lot further of why he was doing what he was doing. No filler, no cartoon chases. Wink, wink. No. Every scene, earns its existence, which again could explain. It just, like you said, like it could make more sense. It actually could fill in those gaps that we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes more of a, I guess, a drama series than it would like an action series, because you would have that whole thing of Obi-Wan being broken, fighting the urge to like, I got to save people. I'm a Jedi. This is what I do. To like, if I keep doing this, I'm going to risk the lives of these 2 kids.
Right.
Right. Like I'm going to risk innocence. I'm going to, I don't want to reveal myself to Vader because he'll hunt me nonstop and I'll never have a life that I can live.
Right, because I mean, he made a promise to Padme. He also made that promise to protect it.
Right. So, I mean, it makes it more of a dramatic series than it does like an action series. And I know, like, well, that's not fun. Like,
well, it can be. I mean,
it can be because you can still have like those lightsaber duels and the Force abilities. It just wouldn't be with fucking Vader.
True. I mean, but again, it could fill in those blanks that we've been missing for so many years in that in between, and then it could actually flow and make sense.
And like I said, a lot of these other games that we've like, The Force Unleashed is one. Like he had other Sith apprentices,
right,
that were just his.
Right, and then of course when you look at games like a little bit more modern, but like Force Awakens or not Force Awakens, what the hell is it? It's the
Fallen Jedi.
Yeah, Fallen Jedi, and it was I thought it was Force. It wasn't Force Unleashed. It was I thought it was the Force Awakens, but
That's a movie.
I know it's the movie. I'm trying to remember the damn game. I know Fallen Jedi is one, the other one. But anyways, like using those games can kind of help, fill in those
right. And you can do this, but I mean, at the end of the day, like Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't fail because it was bad. It stumbled because it played safe with canon, and it was just sloppy with the execution of it.
Right. So what they should have done is not entirely. George Lucas, man, we've been saying this for years. You should have never sold, man. You should have just kept it up and not fucked this whole thing up.
But, the AI fixes restore that mythic distance, respecting the physical logic, and remembering that in Star Wars, what you show is often more powerful than what you do.
Because that version doesn't just fit the timeline, it protects it. And so that way, you actually can follow the damn
blueprint.
Bitch. Anyways, no. Anyways, yes, let's get right back into this.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Assassin's Creed. I know we gotta.
We gotta pick this shit up.
Well, don't you start with me. You like talking about that too. But anyways, yes, good old Altaïr, Ezio, and the rise of the Brotherhood. Yes. So in this case, right, when we're talking about Altaïr, right, it's a flawed but also iconic start, right? You can talk about, Assassin's Creed 1 being repetitive. Yes, sure, whatever. But I'll tell you, a story was the blue. Oh wait, what was that?
Oh.
The blueprint.
Oh, blueprint.
Oh my god. Anyways, he wasn't a quip machine. He wasn't charming. He was cold, efficient, and almost monk-like. Which it is actually true though, because like in the very first Assassin's Creed game, you're like, you kind of don't know what's going on at first, but like you're right, it is because like it almost looks like a monastery. It kind of looks like in like a religious kind of time frame. Because technically, when you look at assassins and you look at the Templar Order, it's almost like the Crusades, and it's kind of weird in some ways. Like, but anyways, going into this, it's like his arc was losing status, earning it back through discipline. Sets the philosophical tone. Don't you start with me, man. The philosophical tone for the whole franchise. There we go. Now going into the Assassin's Creed 2, though, right? So,
it's also, Brotherhood and Revelation.
Yes, if you let me finish, anyways, the Ezio trilogy, right? So this is where Assassin's Creed, found its swagger, which is true. So think of Ezio as the Tony Stark of the Renaissance murder at this point, right? So charismatic, layered, and the first, Assassin's Creed protagonist with a real emotional journally. There we go. I'm joking. It's journey. He's like,
journally?
What is your journally, baby? No. This trilogy is the reason fans stuck with the franchise for the next decade. And that's true. And they've also remastered this game, or this trilogy of games, so many times. That's all I'm going to say. It's kind of like if you took The Last of Us and redid it for every fucking console gen that has come out. Anyways, no, I'm joking. Actually, I'm not really that kidding here. But anyways, yes, his family's execution as the emotional catalyst, right? His transformation from reckless teen, which is true if you remember from the first game of this, to a master assassin. It is crazy to see that. That's all. And the fact that he's the only, basically, assassin that's ever had 3 games. 3 games, Matt.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's crazy that he's had 3 games. But anyways, Brotherhood's peak era for the franchise, recruiting, assassins, Rome at its best, right? Revelations, bringing Altaïr's and Ezio's stories together in a satisfying handoff. And it's what's so crazy about Ezio is that, like I said, he is the only one that has ever had 3 games, but it's just like you're seeing him as a young man, right? But then you get to see him as this older, wiser, kind of version of himself. And then, like, I think at the very end of I think it was Revelations, he actually sees Altaïr, like, and he's like sitting there with basically the apple of Eden. And he's like, "It's okay, my friend." He's like, whatever he says in Italian. And I was sitting there like, it's an emotional moment. But it's true, though, in that moment, because he's like, here's the torch. It's like when Cap gave, he's like, don't you say that. Don't you? He's like, don't you say that. Don't you say that when Cap gave, Falcon the shield. I was like, no. I was like, okay, maybe not like that.
It's not that.
He's like, it's not that, but it's a lot more emotional. The point is it is an emotional journey.
It's more satisfying than that.
I know. But anyways, yes, going into Connor. I know. See, you notice that I'm moving a little bit quicker now, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think, no, I mean, you can read what's here, but I think we've talked a lot about Connor already.
Fine. He's just, he's one of my favorites, but fine. I get it. Okay.
I know.
We don't have to talk about Connor. It's fine. But anyways, yes. If we're going to skip Connor, then why the original trilogy? Why does it hit harder than anything after it? That's a good question, Matt. Because
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're talking like why does the original trilogy?
See, I'm screwing you up.
I know you're screwing
trilogy.
Why the original trilogy still hits harder than all the other games? Because I mean, when you're looking at the first 5, I would say
5.
The Animus mattered, right? The lore mattered. The modern day mattered in these games. The games built this unified story that the later Assassin's Creed games abandoned in favor of more RPG grind.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Especially when you're looking at Valhalla.
Oh, don't even go there.
being one of them. The early games felt like one long narrative puzzle that you had to figure out. It had tighter storytelling versus this like infinite open world, right? Because a lot of the later games had this like the worlds were just
well, they were hold on,
they were
because I
massive.
mean, even in Assassin's Creed 3, I mean, you could go to different cities, I guess, if you want to say. Like, it wasn't just Boston; it was also like, I want to say it was like New York and a few others. But
yeah, I mean, Valhalla felt more open world, like GTA. You know what I mean? Like it was like,
well, okay, because that was also like Norway. It had England. It had
So
Scotland,
yeah, I mean,
whatever.
yeah. But the early games weren't also afraid to say like, this is the story. Follow it.
Wait, what?
But now Assassin's Creed for the newer games is like, do these 400 side quests, and maybe we'll tell you why you're here.
So okay. So I will say this real quick, right? So like. Yes, a lot of
that is Valhalla right there.
No, I do admit. Yeah, no, trust me, I know. I haven't even beat the game because of how long the damn game is. But no, I mean it's true because like you're looking at these games, I'm like, it's not like they didn't have side quests, but they also had like your main story. But you could do the side quest as like a little follow up for something else, like but it would give you like filler things here and there. But yes, right. And so like looking at this. The whole Altaïr, Ezio, Connor, equals a complete generational arc, right? So like this is where 3 assassins, 3 eras, 1 bloodline. It felt like a saga, right? It was like the whole Star Wars saga, right? It was just like
it's almost like Ubisoft knew where the story was supposed to go.
Oh, was it? And
oh my gosh!
Whether they did or did not, that cohesion was why fans still romanticize this era because it's true because it was the cap. It was literally the pillar of the entire series of these games. And I mean, it became why Ubisoft became a powerhouse. It wasn't just because of these games, but they definitely had a lot to do with these games. And wait, ready? Far Cry. Because they also took elements from Assassin's Creed and put it into other games that they did. So Assassin's Creed really helped Ubisoft build an empire. Oh, anyways. No, and then, of course, Desmond's sacrifice felt like the finale, right? Or felt like a finale, not the finale. So, it tied everything together. It wrapped the first major era of the franchise, and everything afterward has been Ubisoft trying to rediscover that spark. I think the problem is with that is that even though, yes, it's like recapturing the essence of like why something was so great in the beginning. But I think with Assassin's Creed, right? I will say that, yes, and then I know we got 2 more episodes to talk about, but like when we're looking at just this really helped, a series of games really become so iconic because I think if you're a gamer nowadays, and especially if I'll say it, if you're some Gen Z kid punk who just thinks, oh, I know all about Fortnite and all this crap, no. Listen, when we're talking like, and I've joked with Matt, I'm like, tell me if you played the original Call of Duty. Tell me if you played some of these original games. Then we can start talking, because when you're telling, oh, I started when Vanguard played, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear nothing about that, right? Guess what? When you say Assassin's Creed, I hope you played the first one. I hoped you played some of these games, because these are the original. This is what really created that whole basically fan like phenomenon that they've had for so long. But like the issue is when you saw Desmond die, it was like basically it felt like, as I remember even that scene, is like it felt like your heart was just coming out, and you're just like, why did you do this to me? And then you're like, what are you gonna do now moving forward?
Yeah.
And it just didn't make any sense. And that's why I said you should make it a mystery and leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking like everything afterward that comes after this like era, right? The Desmond era has felt like, Ubisoft trying to always rediscover that spark that this original, we say trilogy, but it's 5 games. But like the Animus gave the franchise its identity, because without the Animus, like, you don't have an Assassin's Creed, right?
Is it instead of a trilogy, is it pentology?
A pentology? I don't know.
Pentology? No,
that's dumb.
That's stupid.
But Desmond gave it its heartbeat. We followed this guy through the 5 games, so he's definitely the heartbeat of this franchise. And then the original trilogy, which is the first 3 games, built the blueprint for everything else that basically Ubisoft's been chasing. They've been trying to chase the same feeling, but I mean, it's rough when you get like Assassin's Creed China, Assassin's Creed Russia.
Well, those are stupid. I've never heard of them until somebody was like,
mean?
it was like a mobile game or some shit. But yeah.
But it's just like the era didn't just end; it was cut short. So
it could have gone on for years.
It could have been. I mean, yeah, you can look at the Far Cry series. I mean, each Far Cry game is different.
Listen, don't ever. Matt's played Primal, and he realizes that was the most shittiest Far Cry game
I played all the Far Cries.
I know you did. Now you have.
But this game is different. I mean, you have this original 5 games, and then as we get into part 2, it takes us straight into this wild lost era.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, so I realized I forgot that, yes, Black Flag wasn't a part of it, but what I did like about some of the wild lost pieces of it is that it had interesting games in it that still connected to these series of games, but it also gave a new style, but wasn't as quite as good as, like I said, these 5 games that that Matt was mentioning. I don't know why I keep saying weird shit, but anyways, it basically allowed us to see what Assassin's Creed could potentially become. But as we're going to get into our next episode next week, you'll find out more, because I'm definitely not diving in right now, because we need to wrap this shit up, Matt.
We do need to wrap this shit up. So real quick, if you are, whatever platform or whatever you're listening on, give us a follow and subscribe and do all that fist bump stuff that we always say. I'm not going to say it. You're not going to say it.
Oh, man. Okay.
We all know that you know it. You don't know that I know it, because I created it.
Okay. Now you're going to take credit.
Well, I did create the fist bump.
I understand, but go ahead.
But yeah, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. It does tell us a whole lot of, that we're doing good, or, don't give us a follow, whatever. Do whatever you want. But it really does matter, like, especially if you're on, the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
You can follow and subscribe to us there, on Spotify, on Apple. There's like 35 other platforms that you can possibly listen to us on. You can even go to our website.
You could. And I mean,
every single episode's there. You can listen to them. There's a player right on the site, so you can listen to them.
I mean, and not only that, guys, I understand Christmas was just happened a little bit ago here, but It's not like you can't go buy some merch, man. I mean, you got to be, look, it's first of the year. You know what? Do something nice for yourself. Guess what? Go to that merch store. Find out what you can find some cool little pins. Go get some t-shirts. I'm pretty sure there's a hoodie in there too. There's even a hat in there, for God's sakes, if you really want to represent. I mean, there's so much in there. I mean,
And the hat's embroidered,
yes, embroidered. Okay.
not printed. It's actually embroidered, so that makes it a lot different.
Yes, it does. I mean, and not only that, I mean, again, Matt's done so well with this website. Check us out, show your friends, as we've already mentioned already, do all that fun stuff. But until next time, boys and girls,